Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sean Andrew, back with another review. Today we'll be talking about Revenge. Season 1, Episode 11, Duress. Now, this scene actually starts off pretty intense. They show majority of the major characters sitting at a table outside on the beach, and they have Tyler holding a gun to Emily's head. 2 days earlier, Emily and Daniel are talking about his mother's divorce in the kitchen when his dad comes in wanting to chat. He apologizes about how things have been between them and how even though through the divorces, he wanted to kind of keep face about stuff. And he also promised that Tyler would actually be gone. Daniel then calls his mother to tell him that his father thinking that they're back in good graces, that everything's cool, but that she can still count on him to get any type of dirty work that she needs done for dealing with the divorce. They then change over to Emily meeting Nolan at his house. Great pool. I mean, some of their scenery that they have for these characters are pretty incredible. She's there to practically say sorry about what happened with Tyler, how it did kind of get out of control, but she still has her trust issues. Nolan kind of accepts that, but also points out that with some of his equipment being missing that Tyler has stolen, this could now put things in jeopardy. Emily quickly kind of solves the problem to let Tyler dig his own grave. He seems to be on his own little rampage, so she's just going to let him bury himself. He also then makes a reference to about Amanda still being around, and Emily talks about how she made sure Victoria found out that she was back in town. Then there's a quick conversation between Victoria and Mr. Grayson with their lawyers. Neither parties are willing to budge. Victoria's looking as if she's asking for something so minor, but due to some things that the lawyers point out about the amount of property value of what she's asking for compared to what they have in total, would cause a conflict. You can definitely tell that the divorce proceedings will continue to get nasty. Mr. Grayson then shows up at his office just to find Tyler there, making more noise and more threats about things that he would be willing to do and come forth with. But unfortunately for Mr. Grayson, looks as if Tyler may actually get his way because of how detailed everything that he's saying. Of course, because he got all the footage from Nolan's equipment. Now, there's another quick conversation between Victoria and her lawyer that tells us there's going to be a problem with the divorce papers of her signing the prenup. They were looking to actually use Duress because she was pregnant at the time of signing it as a reason on why the prenup should be null and void. Well, Victoria states she was actually lying. She was never pregnant, and to Mr. Grayson's knowledge, she actually had a miscarriage 10 weeks in, which is definitely going to cause a problem. They then go over to Emily and Nolan are working together to try to find the equipment that was taken by Tyler. But when she looks for it, she finds an empty prescription bottle. And that leads her to find out more information about Tyler and how he is currently being sought after by the police. Nolan then uses certain police records to actually find Tyler's brother information and contacts him to have him show up to get Tyler. We then find Mr. Grayson telling Victoria about how Tyler's actually been blackmailing him. And through some research of his own, he comes to discover that Tyler has not actually been at the Harvard Business School. At least he's no longer enrolled because as of last fall, his parents stopped making payments. Victoria is extremely upset, but I think the more devastating information that they find is that Mr. Grayson believes it's not just dealing with the family prior to Tyler ever showing up, but this goes as far as back dealing with Daniel. They then go over to Daniel showing up at the pool house later that afternoon. Tyler's there sitting in the dark in practically a bit of rage. I'm also thinking because he's not really getting what he wants. Everything that he wants is falling apart. And he doesn't have his medication. So that's always helping to add. Tyler makes a few comments about how Daniel isn't as smart as he thinks he is, or as pretty as he looks. And he talks about his lips in some ways. And Tyler tries to blackmail Daniel. Daniel doesn't fall for it, and as he offers to call the police, all of a sudden Tyler decides to leave. Now, Tyler can definitely see things falling apart. One by one, things are not going his way. And it's sad. He did have everything in control up until this point, and Emily, in her own way, has been able to mess up his plans just by her being around, not even with her directly dealing with him, just her doing her scheme and him trying to do his, I mean, that has to play a huge toll on Tyler's mindset right now. But also his comment about saying that he has pretty lips is showing me that it's not so much I believe that Tyler even thinks that he's gay, but it's because he's willing to play this kind of bisexual role just to kind of get what he wants in this higher society. You know, men with power can buy whoever they want, female or male, and now he's willing to play that role just to get what he wants. I think he may be slipping into a deeper part of being caught up in this illusion of it all. I don't think it's directly Tyler. So they then go over to Daniel deciding to keep a gun close because of everything that happened with Tyler, just as Tyler actually shows up with the knife at Nolan's place wanting the footage back. And when Nolan isn't really moving fast enough that Tyler would like, he then stabs him. This now to me is a turning point because, again, with Tyler's mentality, before it was just verbally making statements, trying to blackmail people. Now he physically crossed the line by assaulting someone, showing more and more to the downfall of his mentality throughout all of this. Just then, as Nolan, seeming as if he's getting ready to do something, the USB drive that's at Emily's house begins to start playing on the laptop. Tyler then finds more information that he was looking for and then has to decide what he needs to do with Nolan now that he doesn't really need him anymore. Now, from a reviewer standpoint, it seems a bit cliche that all of a sudden you need some information and then it randomly just starts popping on some TV in the background. But from a fan standpoint, I didn't think of it so much like that. It was definitely helping to build the storyline, which I thought was pretty great. They then go over to Emily's house as the party is starting. All the party members are gathered at the house, and Ashley then introduces Amanda Clark to the Graysons. You feel that odd tension between Victoria Grayson and Mr. Grayson. Victoria actually has this kind of flashback to, I think it was the night when David Clark was getting ready to be arrested, and how she told him that she loved him. He offered, you should try to spend some time with Amanda. And she also said that she was getting ready to leave her husband. As they come back into the current time, Emily then has everybody go down to the beach house, just as Tyler is actually sneaking into Emily's house. They do a quick side flash to Nolan still struggling as he's tied up. Tyler's brother shows up at his house. He makes his way around back. Nolan then tells him where to find the key to get in. As he's free, Nolan then calls Emily's phone to tell her, hey, Tyler's on his way there. And of course, Tyler is the one that actually answers the phone. Now, you have people down at the beach. They're having a conversation. You can definitely tell the tension between Mr. Grayson and Victoria. As Emily goes back to the house to get the cake, Tyler then confronts Emily about everything. And Emily is not backing down. She is definitely standing her ground dealing with this whole situation. They actually show her putting something in his pocket. And Tyler realizing, again, he's kind of failed and not getting what he wants. He takes the measure even further by grabbing a gun. Emily then kind of bucks down a little bit, and then he directs them towards the beach where everybody's at for the party. As they see Emily coming around the corner, she's holding the cake, everything is lit up, people start singing the birthday song, and then they see Tyler behind her with the gun. Everybody's faces kind of just calm down, and Tyler continues pointing the gun at everybody. He then blows the candle out, and then he decides to play a game of truth or die. He then wants Mr. Grayson to talk about what happened to David Clark. And when he doesn't say anything, Tyler then points the gun at Emily. As soon as he does, out of the blue, Tyler's brother shows up, trying to talk him down. Let's get through this together, help you get back on your medication. Your parents and I, we still love you all as a family. As Tyler takes that few moments to look away, Jack then tackles him, and Daniel punches Tyler in the face, lights out. We then come back to see that Tyler's being carried away by the cops, and Mr. Grayson finds out that they found Frank's wallet, who is the head of security for them, in Tyler's pocket. Guessing we know what Emily now snuck into it. And that because of this, the investigation of them thinking that Mr. Grayson killed Frank will now stop, and now they will focus on Tyler. So Mr. Grayson makes it very clear to Victoria that with this now out of the way, he will dedicate everything he can to making sure that she doesn't get what she wants from this divorce. For the closing portion, they go over to Amanda and how she's been showing a little bit of concern of why Mr. Grayson would know information about her father, David Clark. You can definitely see that she's going to have more of an intrigue, hopefully in the next episode, so they can wrap her storyline up, because I frankly don't like her being there. Just as that happens, Victoria's lawyer then shows up while they're at the house with forged documents showing that the miscarriage was legal, that what she had was a miscarriage, and that the prenup would then be invalid. They can go back with the duress argument, and she can now get half of everything Mr. Grayson owns. And with Mr. Grayson obviously putting his foot in his mouth, maybe an hour too early, she is now going to go full force, which in this case, I would completely have to agree with her taking these measures. So that is my review of Revenge. I am definitely going to continue watching this. This series has had a lot of twists and turns, and they have been done tastefully. They don't really feel too forced, except for that one scene, where the TV just randomly pops on, the laptop pops on and starts playing information. Outside of that, overall, the show has been written very well. The acting is extremely good, and I definitely can't wait until next week's episode. So, my name is Sean Andrew with the TV Show Review. Until next time, see ya.